Hi, I'm Pete Agnew, and this is me that you're looking at on Southeast Rec Metal. Enjoy. I hope it talks some sense.
Pete Agnew from Nazareth. It's nice to see you again.
It's a pleasure. It's great. It's nice to be here again. Yeah. Finland we've come to quite a lot, but Helsinki is a city that, when you think of the big cities in the world, it's one that we've played the fewest. You know, when we haven't played here as many times as we've played in, things like Hamburg or places like that. Don't know why.
What's the secret of the band's long age?
Well, I've kept breathing. That's one thing, but I don't know. It's what we do. It's our job. I think you'll see more and more. You are seeing more and more bands from the sort of 70s era, 60s, 70s that are all still going now. There's a lot of them. We all thought we didn't think we'd get this long doing the thing we love, and in this business, nobody knew what would be the end back in the 60s and 70s, and of course now it looks as if there's no end, which is bad.
Never dance with the devil when the sun goes down. Never dance with the devil. You better leave this town. Never dance with the devil. It's the spirit of the cosmos. Never dance with the devil. The Badlands is a playground. Never dance with the devil when the sun goes down.
Is there any place or city or state in the world where would you like to do a show where you haven't been played yet?
Well, one thing we've said quite a few times, and all my friends and all the other bands, we've never ever played in Australia. I mean, weird, I've played Mongolia, I've played in South America, I've played everywhere in the world, played Greenland even, Iceland. But we never played in Australia. We've been booked to go there a few times, and it always got, it didn't work, or it got cancelled, or we went to play somewhere else. So I would like to do that one before I die. I'd like to get over there and play some shows. Other than that, no. I mean, I've pretty much played in all the places that. I mean, who knows? There could be a place, someplace that could be the best gig in the world. I haven't seen it yet, but there's no. That's the one place I'd like to actually go.
Now that you're touring under this 50th anniversary tour, and you started it last year at the end of the year, how long this tour will last?
Well, I think that we sort of intend to keep going this whole year. They're sort of calling it that anyway, because there was the new album, Tattooed on My Brain, came out in November, which is right at the very end of the year, So generally you do a year on an album kind of thing, when you're touring. So at the moment, I think most of the places we're going to, you see, we didn't start that tour until the end of the year. So a lot of the places that we're going to, when we're going back to places like Canada and America and things, that we missed although it was our 50th year, it wasn't announced as that when we were there. So I think they'll be doing that this year. I don't know. Promoters, when people advertise the shows, some of them have been calling it the 50th anniversary for the last 3 or 4 years. So I don't know. It could go on for another 5 years.
I've got you tattooed on my brain. We said we loved us in the summer. Never expected you to stay. Made a big mistake and it's a bummer. I've got you tattooed on my brain. It's a permanent reminder of a temporary feeling, 'cause I've got you tattooed on my brain. It's a permanent reminder of a temporary feeling, 'cause I've got you tattooed on my brain.
Let's talk about the latest album, Tattooed on My Brain. It's the 24th studio album. It's a quite amount of music.
It is, and actually it's probably one of the best that Nazareth have ever done, and it's really great to be able to say that after doing your 24th album being a cracker, But we're all very, very happy with it, and so was our fans, and so were the reviewers. It was very, very well received. It was great. I mean, it was what happens is every time the last few years we've done an album, it's never ever, we've had different lineups, we've different guys in throughout the length of the band, and you always get kind of fresh ideas when you're playing with other people. And of course with this one, we had a new singer with Carol, and it was a whole different approach, to doing an album. It was like doing an album with a new band. So it felt very, very, very fresh, and it turned out that way.
You guys all have been taking a part to the songwriting process. Is it something that brings new and fresh ideas and approaching styles for the music?
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, when some bands, there's a lot of bands, they have maybe a songwriter or two in the band, and that's their job to get everything together for the band, And we're lucky because we've got 4 guys that all write songs, so obviously you're going to get different styles. You're bound to, no two people think the same, so you're going to get different approaches to songwriting. And on this album, it was very, very obvious that there was 4 individuals writing, because there's 4 really different kinds of styles. It's music on it, so I think it's a good thing. Yeah, I think it's good for us. It keeps me interested. I love when somebody comes in with a song and say, what's he got now? Let me. This is great. Because you know what you write. You hear your own song. It's always a wee bit more exciting to hear somebody else's and think, that'll fit great. That'll be good. And we can, So it was a very exciting album to make, because every day somebody was coming in with another song, and they were all good. All good songs.
You've got to think it's still a fucking shame. It's an ordinary minor of a temporary feeling, 'cause I've got you tattooed on my brain. It's an ordinary minor of a temporary feeling, 'cause I've got you tattooed on my brain.
The album was produced by Yannick Roulier, and you've been working with him earlier. Did he have any effect for the final result of the Tattooed on My Brain album?
Oh yeah, Jan's is a genius. The guy's just fabulous. I mean, since the first day we met him, I remember when Dan and I met him when he was a very young-looking man. He was only 26, but he looked like a schoolboy. And we did the first album with him. We did The News, and we knew then we just had sometimes with producers, you just do the record and you get it done, and okay, that's fine. But sometimes, you get a real attachment to the person, and you think that along the same lines. But he has always he's got definite ideas on sound and how to record and how we record a thing, his approach to recording. And I like it. Well, we like it, And that's why, that's 4 albums. Nobody's ever done 4 albums with us, And if we do another album, and I hope we will do another album, it'll be Jan. It'll be doing it again. I would never use anybody else now. I mean, some people say, why do they don't want to use the same producer? Why? Why? I mean, do you fire the guitar player every time you make an album? You don't get a new guitar player for every album. So you shouldn't, if you get a guy that you think does it for you, and he's proved it with the albums that he's done for us, because all the albums he's done for us have been very, very good, and they've all been different. But it's always been his approach. It's agreeable to us.
Your son is the drummer now. Any dad-son, arguments or stuff like that? How do you get along?
No. I mean, it's just, Lee's just when we're touring with a band, it's just another musician, really, And I mean, Lee's been with us for 20 years now. He's a long-term Nazareth. And when he was younger, I mean, from when he started playing drums, when he was about, 10, that age group, 11. Him and his brothers, would all play. They're all musicians. They're all very good musicians. And when I would go home from tour, I would have a studio at the house, and I would jam with them, and Lee used to play drums with me then, So that was about, he was doing it for a long, long time before he actually joined Nazareth. So we've played with each other for a long, long time, but we don't have any on the road. In fact, I very rarely see Lee when we're on the road, to tell you the truth. He likes to boogie at night. I like to come. Those days are gone for me. I kind of take it easy after a gig, He hits the town.
About the music business, you've been around 50 years. What do you think? What are the biggest changes that have been going on all during these years you've been in?
I think it's fairly obvious. There's not really a record business anymore. I mean, it's been going that way for a long time, and records. You make records because you have to be creative, and people want to hear new music, but nobody buys them now. They can just download them for free, you know. So there's no real, the business has changed in a big, big way. And as much as, what you've got now, to find talent now, you've got karaoke shows on the TV. You know, this is where, this is the next great thing is going to come from, is some talent contests where, you know, back in the day, as we say, you know, people would work the clubs, or you'd do things. It was a different way of getting there. And then when you got there, well, I guess you got a bit of respect for that as well, but it was a different way of arriving. So I don't know. I mean, this is, you see, I'm no matter what I say, I'm going to sound like a dinosaur, because, I mean, I'm 72. Things can never be the same as it was 50 years ago, you know, thank God. So there's different ways how the business is. It's not, as I say, it's not what we came into, and it's not what I grew up in. You know, it changed quite a lot. We've got, you know, because you've got your internet and stuff and the social media, you know, you see yourself, you know, the whole world's a different place than it was even 10 years ago. And the music business is just, it's, I would say suffered, but some people say that's improved because of that. It depends what your outlook is, you know. It's I think being there's two. When I look at it now, you see young bands starting. Sometimes I think, well, I don't think I'd like to be a new band now, because, you know, you didn't have those steps to go through that we went through. But then again, you know, because you don't have a record company to support you like what we did. So you would bring out an album. You would get maybe 3 albums with a record company before they would ditch the band. But you got 3 chances. Maybe, you know, if they could see something in you. There's no record company going to put money into a young band now. But then, on the other hand, now you've got the internet. A young band can bring out a song now that he records in his bathroom, and it's round the whole world by lunchtime. Now that's different. That's another thing. See, I don't know how to use that, but young guys do, you know. And there's a lot of young bands do know how to use that, and they've had to think differently how to approach. So, you know, how to approach this business, and it's the only business they know. They grew up with that. But it's very strange to me, you know.
After you someday quit this tour, do you have plans already?
We just take each year as it comes, you know. We take each week as it comes, really. But you know, we'll be touring all this year, and hopefully we'll be. And I've got gigs already booked for next year, for 2020. So then, obviously, we'll like to try. We've tried these last few years to try and get an album out once every 3 years. You know, I think there was 4 years between that, because with Dan leaving and everything, it was a bit upset. You know, so it took a wee bit longer to get tattooed on my brain out after the last one. But I think we'd probably aim at another album in 3 years' time. But up until then, what do? You tour. You know, that is our job. You know, that's what we do. I can't imagine what I'd be doing if I didn't tour. You know, sometimes, you know, the tours, we're not doing as long tours. You know, we don't want to go out and do the 2-month tours anymore. Although that last one in Europe was, it was 5 weeks. I don't like to go for big long tours anymore, but I quite like, you know, when a couple of gigs this weekend, you can go back and then you can come out and do a couple of festivals and, you know, that kind of thing. 4 or 5 shows here. And we'll be doing that, hopefully, for the next, forever.
You've been here a lot in Finland doing shows. Do you have good memories, and if you can share a few from Finnish shows or maybe after shows?
No, I mean, Finland's been good for us, because we've always had, you know, we've always had great gigs here. Well, we haven't played as much as here as we played in Germany, for instance, because, I mean, that's the sort of the centre of Europe. But all the shows that we have done have always been really good. The fans in Finland have always been nice to us. I'll tell you what's one of the things I remember. Actually, Carol did his first gig with us in Finland. It was with us and Uriah, not far from here. It was one of these ice hockey places. And one of the things about Finland that takes us by surprise is this, like, you know, red hot chocolate that you eat, you know. I couldn't believe it. I remember that night we came off stage. I'd never come across this before. I'd been in Finland a lot of times, but I'd never come across it. I come in and go, oh, a bar of chocolate, have that. And I put it in my mouth and we're standing talking. And the next thing you know, my face went on fire. And I thought, what is this, you know? And they've got chili in the chocolate. Now, that's something that you don't get every place else. That's definitely a Finnish thing.
The maybe worst memories from Finland is the chili chocolate.
Fiery chocolate. No, I mean, it is great. We played in the very, very early days. I remember way back in the 70s, and we did, the first time we played Finland was Turku. They used to have I think they still do. They had a festival they have up there on a kind of lake, and I think it's an annual thing. I remember doing that, and Procol Harum were on that as well. That was our first gig in Finland, and that must have been, I don't know, 72 or something like that. It was a long time ago. And we played a lot of, we did a winter tour of one of these. We did a tour in Sweden and in Finland, where it was the what do they call it, the Midnight Sun festivals. We did quite a few shows in Finland, and again that was back in kind of the 80s, I think. But Helsinki itself, I mean, we've only played. I mean, I think we've only maybe played in Helsinki maybe 4 or 5 times in our entire career. And I don't know why, but we played around, you know. The people from Helsinki have come to other shows, you know. So I'm really looking forward to this one, because we did. I remember we did a club a long time ago. Michael come along to see us. It was a club we played here, but that was more than 20 years ago. And that was the last time I played in that club. And then the last one we did, I think, was in here in Helsinki. It was with Deep Purple, which must have been, I think that must have been about 8 years ago or 9 years ago or something. So, you know, we haven't been here a lot, so I'm looking forward to this one.
Have a nice show in Helsinki tonight.
Thank you, it was a pleasure talking to you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my man. You take it easy.
Dance with the devil when the sun goes down. Never dance with the devil. Never dance with the devil.